I finally watched Solo Leveling. I basically had to because I couldn't escape it. Everywhere I looked, I would see Solo Leveling. It was all over my Instagram feed, claiming that season 2 was the best it had ever been, the best it ever had been animated. On ranking sites, this show has been ranked extremely highly, and even YouTubers like iShowSpeed have been claiming that Solo Leveling is the best new gen anime ever.
This is the best anime right now, chat. Solo Leveling is in my top 5 of all time.
Even my sister that hates my guts recommended that I watch it, so I finally caved in and watched it. Well, most of it. I only watched season 1.
Bruh.
Today, I can officially say that Solo Leveling should be a series that doesn't work. But as I watched more and more, it proved to me that a power fantasy can be more than a 6 out of 10, like Sword Art Online. So here are my thoughts on Solo Leveling season 1 and why it shouldn't work, but in the end, it works better than any other power fantasy on the planet. Solo Leveling was my first ever power fantasy show that I ever watched, which had me worried because I've heard that these type of shows kind of stink. Sword Art Online, Redo of Healer. A lot of these shows end up being mid, and it kind of makes sense because when you have a character that is super OP who never loses, you lose a lot of the stakes when it comes to a story. I mean, when you take a character who never loses and put them into a conflict, there should be no tension because you know in the back of your mind that the main character can never lose. This is the main reason a lot of power fantasies fall flat. Another reason is because at times these types of shows just make no sense with the way the main character's power progresses. Sometimes it feels like the creators of power fantasies just pull bullshit out of their ass at times to allow their main character to win and continue the story forward, which can appeal to some people, but for most, it's just boring. You probably couldn't count on one hand how many times Kirito's done this bullshit, and I haven't even watched the show to confirm that. I just know it's gotta be like that. When I went full force into Solo Leveling, I was nervous it would kind of suck and be limited by these factors, but I was very wrong. Yes, this anime does have a super strong main character that wins every single fight he battles in, but I feel like there are still stakes to every fight that he's in despite that fact. I think the Solo Leveling anime's portrayal of each fight is done in a way that makes it so you feel like any battle he is in is still losable. There's still a little piece of doubt in your mind in each fight that maybe Jinwoo won't be able to win because of the way Sung interprets his opponents and realizes the overwhelming strength of the foes that he fights. It's like he makes sure the audience knows that the enemies are formidable and that every fight could be a losing battle, which provides those stakes to each and every fight that is very important. Without these forged stakes, you might as well mind-numbingly watch the fights, which isn't as fun as being engaged with a close fight, which I definitely was engaged throughout Solo Leveling each and every time Sung Jinwoo would fight. The show does a good job adding stakes in one more way, which is the use of different fight scenarios. Just because Sung Jinwoo can't die doesn't mean the people around him can't die, and the show uses this many times to add stakes to the show. For example, when the crazy purple haired dude murders the prisoners and starts going after Sung Jinwoo, they add stakes to this fight by having people he really cares about that he needs to protect within the fight. We know that Sung Jinwoo has to win, but there's still that shadow of a doubt that he may not be able to protect those important to him within the fight, making it a lot more engaging. Also, the fact that he needs to keep his power a secret from the world also adds stakes, because if word gets out that there's a man with unlimited power running around, the whole world is gonna want to kill him or enslave him, further boosting the stakes to every single battle in the series. Along with this, the power scaling in universe is masterfully done in a way that doesn't feel as bullshit as other power fantasy shows. It's also a really interesting way of classifying power and justifying the increasing strength of our main character. The hunter system ranging from E rank to S rank allows for justification of who our main character should be able to beat fairly versus completely bullshittily. That is definitely not a word, but just roll with it, okay? When Sung defeats an enemy, you don't get that feeling that he shouldn't be able to win, and you don't get mad that what you just watched is a complete pile of horse manure. Along with this, the ability that makes Sung Jinwoo the strongest in the verse is easy to understand. Even a monkey could understand that nobody else gets stronger. Sung Jinwoo has ability to get stronger. Therefore, he surpassed all humans using ability to get stronger. It's really that simple. It's simple, but also interesting to see all the progress of Jinwoo from being the weakest hunter in all of existence. Yo, imagine getting nicknamed that. I'd probably kill myself. Slowly but surely becoming the strongest thing in existence, one level at a time, one stupid broken skill at a time. It just feels like the way they justify Jinwoo being the strongest thing in existence isn't bullshit, because it just makes sense as to why he would be considered undefeatable in this universe. It's called Solo Leveling for a reason. It's because he's the only guy who can level up and become stronger, thus giving him the potential to be the strongest in a way that isn't infuriatingly bullshit. So the two main issues with power fantasy shows don't really apply to Solo Leveling, which already makes it an amazing power fantasy, but this show is also just extremely fun to watch watch as an experience. As I said earlier, Solo Leveling is my first ever power fantasy show, and it did not disappoint. This show had me smiling multiple times with joy how fun it is to just watch the strongest thing in existence beat the absolute shit out of every single enemy with increasing intensity as the show progresses. The amount of times I had this shit-eating grin on my face as Sung would just clap everyone who stands in his way or manipulate people into doing what he needs would make you think that I'm a psychopath. Maybe I am a psychopath because I've been rambling about Solo Leveling for the past 5 minutes. But that's besides the point. I would describe this show using one word, which is fun. It's really fun. What else is there to say? Slowly but surely, the enemies Jinwoo fights get stronger. They get more personal as more humans start getting involved with Jinwoo's extremely peculiar state. It's just amazing, honestly. The ever-increasing spectacles just give more... What the fuck did I just write here? This shit makes no sense. The ever-increasing spectacles just get more fun each and every time Sung steps into battle. Not to mention, you can tell A1 Pictures locked in with this show, especially during Jinwoo versus Ibris. That fight was awesome, especially the ending spectacle. I had to watch that more than once. That shit was crazy. The power that Jinwoo has as well is just super fun because he's constantly unlocking new powers that change how each fight goes down as the show progresses. This show isn't just fun because Jinwoo's beating everyone's ass though. The world of Solo Leveling is also very interesting. Starting with the system that Jinwoo's entangled with, the mystery of what the system is and what its goals are is super interesting to see progress. Like, what does the system want from Jinwoo? It obviously wants him to survive with how many times it'd be bailing him out of stupid fights. It's gotten him to murder humans with no second thought. But for what reason? What the hell even is the system in the first place, and how's the double dungeons connect to the system itself? There are so many questions left unanswered that made me want to continue to season 2, which I definitely will be doing after I upload this video. The premise of the main character is just extremely interesting, but the world around him is also interesting. Everything is just so interesting, goddammit. The ranking system, guilds, the world being powered financially by private businesses selling items from gate, the corruptness of society, the legality behind certain things like how you can just get away with murdering whoever you want if it's within a gate. The way the world is fleshed out is masterfully done, and I'm super interested to see how things play out at that island where all the S ranks got folded, as that's another mystery this show masterfully crafts. Apparently the beasts be evolving like Pokemon or some shit. It means there could be beasts that are growing in level like Jinwoo, which will make for some fantastic Solo Leveling fights in the future. For now, I'm excited to see where Solo Leveling takes its story in the future in season 2, and if you spoil that shit for me in the comments, I'll make sure to cut your balls. Anyways, those are my thoughts on Solo Leveling. If you're wondering what score I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's not my favorite anime in the world, but it's definitely a contender for an anime I show my cousins when we go on vacation every year, because it's something really fun to watch and it appeals to a lot of people. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this Solo Leveling glazing seminar. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to not miss my thoughts on Solo Leveling season 2, which I'll be watching shortly, and take care of yourselves. Goodbye.